YouTube! My name is Scott, and welcome to another episode of Opinions No One Cares About, a video series that I care about so deeply and wholeheartedly that I named it wrong in the pilot. Anyway, which piece of old pop culture will we be dusting off this time? Hamilton? That's almost topical. Did you forget what the format of this show is? I'd fire you if you weren't stock footage. That's right, folks, we're talking about Hamilton, the smash hit musical created by Lin-Manuel Miranda that reminds us why the guy on the $10 bill is there. It is brilliant. Watch it, listen to it, I don't care. Absorb it into your consciousness somehow. After this video is over, of course. But you guys know me, I have to pick apart the things I love. So, which weapon will I be using to attack this particular work of art? Historical accuracy. And no, I'm not talking about the whole skin color thing. But, as long as we're on that topic, I don't think it's a coincidence that the original cast featured 3 characters who would eventually become president, who were all slave owners, and who were all played by men of color. Lin was sending a subtle message there. Now, I'm going to focus on something else. See, this all came about while listening to one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack. The Reynolds Family. Have you read this? We're at the point where Hamilton starts worrying about his legacy, having just admitted to Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and Aaron Burr that he had an affair. So he figures he'll clear his name, well, partially, and make the affair public. And after all the details are out, who leads the refrain against him? Never gonna be president now. Never gonna be president now. The refrain is led off, of course, by Jefferson, Madison, and Burr. They get very excited about the fact that, in their own words, you know, it's interesting to know there was a time in American politics when the knowledge of an affair would end someone's political career. So, Jefferson was set to become president not long after this. Madison would be elected after him. Madison is widely considered to be a co-author of the Constitution, and Jefferson rather famously wrote the preamble. And of all the people on the stage, besides Hamilton himself, those 2 men would be most likely to know that by the rules of the Constitution, Hamilton couldn't have been president at all. Putting the affair aside for a second, even if Alexander Hamilton had lived the life of an actual saint, he still never could have been president. Although, can you imagine what it would have been like if he had been canonized? Alexander, patron saint of fiscal responsibility and sick beats. Article 2 of the Constitution spells it out. To become president, one must meet 3 basic requirements. First, that person must be at least 35 years old. Now, this part takes place during the Adams administration, which ran from 1796 to 1800. 1797 to 1801 if you're going to only count forward from the inauguration, but we all know that's not how we do it here in America. Anyway, if we count forward from the date of the second song, where Alexander Hamilton is 19 years old when he meets Aaron Burr in 1776, then he's in his late 30s, early 40s. No problem there. Second, any potential POTUS must have lived in the United States for at least 14 years. Why such an arbitrary number? Who the hell knows? But again, counting forward from 1776, Hamilton meets that requirement as well. The third requirement has come up a lot more recently for some reason, but I can't quite put my racism on it. To be president of the United States, you must be an American-born citizen, meaning you're either born in this country or somewhere in the world designated as an American territory. And given the fact that America wasn't even a place when Hamilton was born in the Caribbean, that means that, unfortunately, he is in fact constitutionally ineligible to lead the country that he helped to build. With this in mind, it occurred to me that this song, which is already a banger in my opinion, could actually be improved, historically speaking. Picture this. After the details of the affair are revealed through the power of rap, the chorus is still sung, but only by the background characters. The regular citizens of the time, who probably didn't know the Constitution as well, would be more likely to denigrate Hamilton for having an affair and not vote for him as a result. So they can go on about how he's never going to be president thanks to them and their votes, while Jefferson and Madison, and Aaron Burr are off to the side saying, "Just one thing we need to say, he couldn't be president anyway." Okay, I may never sing again on this channel, so please bear with me. But would this actually be a good idea? That's iffy. I think it would disrupt the narrative flow if you have to stop and explain with more rapping, the actual requirements to be president. But on the other hand, Lin-Manuel Miranda's pretty talented. Maybe he could have made it work. Oh, and there's one more thing. If this had really happened, the absolute hypocrisy of Thomas Jefferson singing his poor wife before returning to Monticello and continuing to cheat on his own wife is astounding. And you know the worst part? He was sleeping with one of his slaves, so he probably justified it to himself by saying, it's only like 3/5 of an affair. So, yeah. Anyway, kudos to Alexander Hamilton, a man who worked tirelessly to help create a new country that he could never lead and cheat on his wife that time. But hey, at least he was honest.
Stop that. You're not going into a song while I'm here.
Okay, I'm sorry. Everyone's a critic. Well, everybody, that's another episode down. Hope you liked it. If you did, please show your approval in all the usual ways. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And another couple of weeks, I'll be back with a new one. But until then, my name is Scott, and this has been Opinions No One Cares About. Everyone has opinions. This one was mine.